computer. Yes, hello. Hey, Owen.
Hello, how are y'all?
Hey, Tom, Nicholas, Robert, Bill, David.
Can't hear anybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm not getting any sound. I don't know what the deal is.
I can hear you.
There we
fine.
go. There we go. Yeah, now I got you.
Good. Hey, David.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, David.
Hey,
Oh, there's David. Hi, David.
how's it going?
Good. Good. Hey, Suzanne, I think I'm going to bring some of David's recordings with me when I come out.
When are you coming?
I'll be in Phoenix on I think it's the 11th of September.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing a
Good.
conference, a big recovery conference that I'm going to record the speaker. So if it isn't working, I'm going to give you a call. Bring over some cables and dongles or whatever I'm going to need to make that work.
Okay, just a little advance notice is good.
Yes, that's right. I've got your number on speed dial. Rob, get over here.
Hey, Bill. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you are there.
There's Bill. There's Bill. Shoot.
The gallery. There we go.
Are you back to work already? Oh no, this is your office? Or
No,
your-
this is home. But
Okay.
yeah, back to work this week.
Sorry to hear that. There's a thing called retirement, right, Rob?
Oh, I don't know that yet. I
Yeah,
need
yeah.
another
You
year
start-
and a half.
Rob, you start this week?
I started last week.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's too hot to go back to work.
that's a good,
Yeah,
that's a great
they-
excuse.
They shouldn't call it the fall semester.
Yeah.
It's too hot.
I don't know any other schools that start after Labor Day. That is such a thing of the past now.
UCLA used to start in late September. The UCs, we used to be on like a trimester or something like that, and we'd have most of September off.
Well,
And I'm very glad I'm not there.
Don't rub it in.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have like 2 more minutes to see if more people are joining. Are you ready,
Sure.
Bill, to take notes and everything?
mhm.
Yes, good. The meeting is going to be hour and a half, okay? So let's try to make it in hour and a half. I'm sure we will make it. So 8:30 for Europe. I made a mistake. I put the Greenwich time frame. And then now when I log in, it was like 2 hours later. I was panicking, like, oh my God, but I could change it. I could just edit it. So I was like, I have to change, I have to send a new link. But no, it worked. Winnie, why super late for her? My God, she's so motivated.
Hey, Rob, are you going to get any of that tropical storm?
We hope.
Yeah. I guess for you guys, any rain at all would be a good thing, right?
Yeah, it's very
Oh, you too, Suzanne. Are you still in Tucson? Oh my God.
Yes, but I'm retired now.
I can't
It's
say
been
enough good
cloudy.
things about retirement.
yeah.
It's
I'm adjusting. Still.
Well, I'm getting stuff like, oh, Rob can't be on that committee because he'll be retiring.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
So he's not worth a shit anymore.
no, only
Yeah.
only to be on the personnel committee.
You're still on the personnel committee?
I was supposed to be off, but they're putting me back on because there's no one else that is tenured that can do it. I've been on it for over 30 years with the
I
year off
know.
here and there. I know.
You're kidding me. Oh, jeez. You still haven't got it right yet then, huh, Rob?
No, they keep hiring new people.
Well, I did a musicians workshop yesterday for the School of Dance.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And there were 3 faculty that were there. It went very well.
Nice.
Yeah.
For the dance students or for the music
No,
students?
for it was for the musicians, but I wanted some faculty there. And so 2 of the new faculty were there and one who's I've worked with for years and years and years. So it was very fun and went really well.
Nice. I think we can start. I'm a little bit sad that I don't see more faces here. But well, it's summer still, like kind of weird dates. Well, but even though, welcome everyone. Good to see you here again. Hey, Huini, are you everything fine? It's super late for you. I guess you have your camera off, so you can join from your bed. Yes, well, I mean, from the last meeting is David, you weren't in the last meeting, no, in the 10th, right? No, exactly. So
No, I wasn't there.
exactly. No worries. Yes, just to because the others were in the last meeting. But well,
I didn't make the last meeting. Sorry.
no. Okay, I thought you were there. Okay. Well, we, as you know, we are going to do these meetings every 3 months. So it's going to be August, November, February, and May. So this is going to be more like a general meeting where we share the information and we get feedback from you. And we will also like to have, of course, more like a social thing and like to present ourselves, also what we are doing, what we are up to, and our projects, and a little bit of sharing what we are doing so we know each other, because I'm pretty new, as you know, so I know some things, and I'm sure everyone wants to hear what we are doing and also what you have done for the guild and all of these things. But we will take this a little bit later, just if new people join soon. Eleni is joining now. Hello, Eleni. We have started the meeting. Okay. Yes. So, hey. Hello. Yes. So, yeah, well, the first thing is that, as you know, we have decided to do working meetings every 10th of every month. Okay, so we kind of continue in a work flow, and we meet often, and we focus more on specific things. We did last 10th of August was the first one. I think it was pretty good for being the first one. And we do work groups and we focus on certain topics. Okay, so the next one will be the 10th of September. The groups that we have done so far are the archive and library, which is with Owen and Suzanne. You are the kind of the leaders of this group. And then we are doing another group with like more like technology, website, all these things that are connected to the website. So Jeff is coordinating this. And for the next meeting, we will do, I want to do a meeting about how to communicate, you know, what we are doing and how we get new people and all, I mean, how we communicate with the world, because we really need more people to know about what we are doing and all of this. And always communication is a tricky subject. I think Owen, I asked him before, Owen, would you like to share or Suzanne about the library and the archive?
Go ahead, Owen. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Thank you all. Yeah, so As far as the library goes, I mean, basically we're starting with the archives. Suzanne has agreed to transfer from her possession to Belhaven University the archives, what exists in her possession. And there's probably a lot more that's scattered out or among other members of the guild. And so this is also kind of a call for any of that information that you might have in print or digitally or whatever, to start sending that to me so that I can begin to catalog it and digitize what isn't digitized and put it up on the platform that we're going to be using called Content DM. The library at Belhaven has graciously agreed to give us some space, some assistance with the archival process, and again the space on their server for the actual content. And so yeah, it begins. The conversation started back early in the summer, and it culminated with signing a deed of gift from the guild, and Belhaven also signed that, and we're off and running. So now I physically will be traveling to Tucson on, I guess I fly in on the 18th, 17th or 18th of September. 17th, thank you. I don't remember my itinerary. But apparently it's going to overlap a bit with Tom's visit to Arizona. So we're pretty stoked to be able to connect a little bit, and maybe we'll rope Rob into coming down and having some fun with us. So we'll go through the archives when I get there. Jeff Zahos is supposed to come as well. We'll go through it and kind of do a preliminary get to know you with the material, and then load it up. And the next day, I guess that'll be the Monday, and then the next day, Tuesday, I guess that's the 19th, we'll head off and take it to Jackson, Mississippi. So once it's here, the fun begins. Anyway, that's the short nutshell version, or as short as I can make it anyway.
Yes, Tom.
So, and on my trip out there, I have a dozen or so CDs of dance musicians. Do you want me to bring those? I have everybody from Natalie Gilbert to David Karaganis. I have some of your CDs, and do you want those in the archives as well? And will there be a way to access those if people want to use them for choreography or however? Is it possible to do that?
That's a very large question. Right now we're starting mostly with print, but there are some digital things that Suzanne has in a box, and so we're gonna have to figure out how to get that up. As far as CDs and anything else, I mean, obviously we're gonna get into who wants their stuff up there, and so we'll probably have to do that. And if you want to preliminarily like go through those and contact folks and say, hey, do you mind if this goes up on the guild's website for people to listen to, as far as, you know, using it and all of that, hopefully there'd be a way to refer them back to the original composer. And I don't know if we are set to work as a clearinghouse for getting that out to people, because we really haven't gone over what that looks like. Like I said, most of our discussions have been about print, but yeah, I think those, please.
Well, that's a question for David, because do you want your CDs in an archive, David? That's, you know, I mean, you're one of quite a few people that I should ask that question of.
I think so. I mean, there's always the question about who might use stuff, and I mean, basically, you know, when I make CDs, I don't make any money because nobody buys CDs, right? But I do make money from licensing for productions. I mean, that's what pays for the next one, you know.
Right.
Always. So there, you know, it's one of those things. In general, I mean, I love the idea that things that we make, music, and also, which I was going to ask, what about videos? I mean, we make music, but it's when we make music for dance, it sure would be nice to like acknowledge that because otherwise, what are we doing, right? In this particular thing. So I mean, I think it would be really wonderful to at least have some way of things being seen, with possibly the caveat that please contact blah, 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 whatever, for permission to use in anything onward, right?
Yeah. And I think this is kind of where the two different entities kind of comes into play. We have library, we have archives, and those are kind of two different things at this point. The archives is pretty much the the historical record of the guild, and then figuring out at the same time, how do we kind of curate the creative work and the resources and the teaching materials, whatever, for that will go on the guild's website. So it feels like recordings mostly are going to come into the library end of things, and that is an ongoing conversation that we've been having, and that I feel like we made some good progress in our conversation on the 10th about it seems like, with, for example, Rob Kaplan, you've said that we can use your book and put that up online, put the digital version up online, so people can be using that. And I think as we get permissions from all of you who have more work, we can start putting it up, and then that's going to be the job of the library group, and it may end up splitting to where there's archival folks and there's library folks, just depending on what we can get going. But yeah, I think those are the questions we're gonna have to grapple with, like, how do we put this out there? And I think if we can kind of do it through the membership side of the site, I think that's good. And yeah, I don't know, thoughts are welcome at this point.
So one way perhaps to begin this is to have a picture of the CD and the backside in the member area on the website, with a link to, say, David, or a link to whoever wants, whatever member wants their CD information up there. And that would be an easy place to start. While we sort out, is this music going to be on the website, and how do we deal with the copyright issues for that, and use issues? But if we just send it back to David, then he can make the decisions about the distribution.
I also have a question. Are you looking also to archive things like curriculum, dance composition, curriculum that, for instance, I have years and years of music for dance curriculum that I used at Purpose Center, and if that's the kind of stuff you want, I have stuff that I could include in that archive too. Is that what you're looking for too as well?
Again, I think that fits into the library side of things. I think absolutely, right. like Rob's teaching materials. He and I just discussed that on Friday. We were kind of going through what that's going to start looking like, and that seems like kind of the easiest stuff to get up right away, so that people can, these are the conversations that we had over the listserv, all those years ago, people sharing syllabi and discussing those things. So having any of that we can get up, I think, good as resources. Cool. I think for teaching music for dance, for the composition process, for just the working relationship.
And that could even be another committee.
Right. So I think eventually library is going to,
right, that they could focus on curriculum and work with that material and get it digitized.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the education side. Yeah.
And actually, one of the main things at the beginning, it was to gather scores, because so many musicians are asking for scores.
Right.
So that's also
what kind of scores? I'm sorry, you mean?
I'm sorry, for playing for ballet classes, which is always a big okay. Or playing also repertoire, like ballet repertoire and things like this.
Yeah, and it seems like Juan, that's been Juan's initiative. He seems pretty passionate about the score end of things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And ballet score questions come up on the ballet Facebook, Pianists for Ballet Facebook page.
Pianists for Ballet class. Yeah.
People are often asking, do you have the third act of Swan Lake, blah, blah, blah.
So if we can answer like, yes, it's in our group, so join our group. And you would
Yeah,
have
usually Michael Barnett has everything.
exactly. So we have
But
to
that's another complication though, because then you're putting out, it's not like the materials that you control yourself. You know, I mean, you're
Right.
saying, well, we have a score for thing that was written by somebody else that's controlled by another publishing company.
yeah, but
I don't think you can just say, hey, we got it here.
We are going to start with the scores that are very old, like from 19th century and beginning of 20th century.
They're in the
Well,
public.
that brings up an interesting question too, because I'm bringing Suzanne. I did a lot of research on Dalcroze, and he was a prolific writer, and I have some of his songs that I want to share with Suzanne, and I don't know if that's something that could go in the archive or not, because it is copyrighted material. So I don't know. That's an interesting question.
The library might be the best place for it.
Exactly.
They're beautiful songs. I like people to be playing them. They're wonderful.
And another thing that we are considering, well, no, this will be on the 10th. You can join, and then you can go into the library archive and work on this. But is to also to ask composers that have written music for ballet classes, to ask them if we can do a collaboration, like maybe we can, I don't know, sell the scores in one way, or I don't know. This is a dialogue that we need to open.
Or again, point in that direction. If you want this score, so-and-so wrote one.
Exactly. Yeah, make
Here's
a list.
where you can contact them to get it. Like, what is his name? Oh my gosh.
That is, yeah.
Is it Michael? He used to be at the Met in New York, but now he doesn't do that anymore. What is his name? Anyway.
I mean, Dixon Place, for example, is selling beautiful scores. So we create.
Right, because he has scores that he sells.
Exactly.
And so that would be a resource. I just can't think of his name right now.
Stephen Mitchell?
Stephen Mitchell, thank you.
There it is.
So, yep. And also, it might be great to link up with, there is an archive of John Coleman's music too, and I have to find out where that ended up. Are you guys familiar with John Coleman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. I know Rob, and he was a dance musician. He worked with Hanya Holm and many other people he played. I actually took some classes from him, but he studied with Dalcroze, and he was at the first international convention at SUNY Brockport.
The second one.
The second one.
Sorry, the second one. Well, the one that was open to the public, but yeah. Anyway, he was there for that, and there is a videotape, and Suzanne has that. But also he has, it's on YouTube too, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
But there's one of him playing. It's an old PBS recording of him at a PBS station in Madison, Wisconsin, with some. Anyway, there's an archive of John Coleman somewhere, and it would be good to have that link, because he was pretty formidable in the dance music world early on. So anyway,
I believe he was one of the original pianists for the Green Table.
Yes, he was. He was at the premiere of not the Rite of Spring, one of Stravinsky's. Anyway, he has this incredible history of being around dance music for a long time.
So yeah, I think if we can find out where where that archives is, and like, again, I had the opportunity to view the dance archives, some of it at the University of Denver, which I hadn't known about before, but I happened to be out there visiting and got a chance to get some tips for what we're about to do. But there's just these collections in various places, and it'd be great for us to be able to refer folks, kind of being as like a jumping off point for scholars and that kind of thing, and people just with curiosity.
I mean, this is amazing what is happening already.
Yeah.
Well, there's also
out there.
There's also somewhere there's a Louis Horst. I'm not Louis Horst. Lou Harrison collection too. And he was prolific composer for a dance too as well. And
Oh yeah.
Rob, do you know where that is?
Like Iowa or something?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure where
I
that
know
ended
that
up.
all of the recordings that we did at the conference that we did here, you can't hear anything. All the
really?
panels and and
nuts.
you know that this is where we were. I mean, we can look at the tapes again, but the guy basically, well, David remembers this. He once said to me, 90% of what I say is total bullshit. The other 10% comes out for real. But he promised me that I wouldn't end up with 25 individual videotapes that you can't hear anything on, that all be mixed together and it'll be great. Well, it's not. That fell into the 90%.
The 90%, yeah.
So
Great. Well, so this
I made a great that recording of that live show that
concert.
everybody put on there too. Remember, I had my DAT machine. I was up in the wings and
Yeah, I have that DAT.
Yeah, that should be. Except your DAT doesn't work either, does it?
I borrowed a machine that works.
Oh, good for you. We both had this conversation the other day. Both of our DAT machines no longer work.
Yeah, so until school started, I was digitizing things, so putting them into the computer. I could do that one.
Cool.
So this is a big subject.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
please join the meeting on the 10th so we can work on this group, and also you can jump from different groups. So you can be like 10 minutes in one group and then jump to another if you want to contribute to the other group or whatever.
Yeah, just long enough to like completely disrupt and then get out.
Exactly.
Like me.
I didn't name names.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, I have a suggestion. Just if the idea is that you are collecting various things that you're going to archive, that could create some interest in various people who have things. And even though I guess you haven't completely determined what things you are going to archive or whatever, it might be a good thing to just sort of say on the listserv, we're thinking about gathering materials. It could be just publications, but it could be recordings, could be videos of dance, it could be I don't know what else, but that might attract some people to be interested in the idea of having their stuff disseminated in some way.
Yeah, that's definitely Jeff Zahos and I were discussing, starting to put this stuff on a newsletter, and I plan on announcing this too, but just having sort of like over time, over the next few months, sort of making these sort of announcements that we're discussing right now, but that can go out to the membership that can't be at these meetings or only are able to be occasionally. And so that's part of the communication piece we're working on, is to try to get that out there. And yeah, I mean, as far as like, again, the archives is starting strictly with the stuff that immediately concerns the guild. Although we'll probably have to work back a couple degrees to figure out, how closely related, and does it actually have to have like, we're not just doing minutes. There are things that are somewhat tangential, but are really important to the history of the guild. So that's kind of that's the cornerstone. That's the focus. And my institution, Bellhaven, elevated me from a specialty instructor to full-time just to do this. So that it's going to be part of my job. And so, yeah, that's why I'm making the call to get more stuff. I think maybe in the next couple of months, as I have an idea of exactly what I want to ask for people, more so people know what to send, what's the priority to send, what can we deal with first, and then again in conversations with the library, what can we start putting up, just get up online under our resources page, or under education, or under whichever part of our mission we're trying to get that out.
So some of you know this already, but Kathy Tech sent me everything, and she did an extraordinary job. in those early days of the Guild, documenting every letter, every communication with others outside of our profession to get the Guild known out there. So and for the last 20 years, I've had students cataloging this information. And I'm going through it now, those early years, and adding details. And I learned from John Tenges at our last meeting how to bookmark something in the document and then make a link so that the archivists at Owens University know what to digitize. So we're not going to digitize every letter,
Right.
but articles and important things. The other thing that I have are, I think I have almost every video from conferences that we had. I mean, Rob discussed his problem. I had a problem with the videographers for the 2010 conference. So there's the only thing I have of that are sound audio files, except the films that Tom and Bill Moulton did with Marjorie. And I too, Tom, have recordings of dance musicians and, items from conferences. Like when we went to Sweden, there was a beautiful poster with the feet walking along the keys of the piano, and a t-shirt from Sweden where we stayed in Sweden, and those kinds of things. So it's not,
there was,
but there's video and other ephemera.
and there was, I think there was a videographer and a documentarian there for the conference in Florida. Way back when was
that Greg Ketchum?
No, it was Max
Vanderbeek?
Vanderbeek.
I don't have
Danny's school.
Daniel Lewis. Oh,
Lewis's school, yeah.
uh,
And there was that contingent
art.
from Finland. And I'm pretty sure they recorded that piece with clarinet, and the clarinetist danced. Do you remember that?
Yes,
Rob,
I do.
were you there for that?
Yeah.
Auntie was his first name.
No, the guy with the clarinet that danced was the guy from Ireland.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Was from Finland.
Finland, yeah. But I think that was all recorded too as well, and I don't know where that documentation went.
I don't either. But
Yeah,
this is what I have. It's a lot.
Yeah. And if we can get hold of some of that stuff,
so we're gonna get started there. And the other aspects that David's mentioning and you're mentioning, Tom, it's on the agenda to discuss and figure out. It's like Saul just sent me a box of stuff, but it turns out it's mostly duplicates of what's already there. And I guess I could ask you folks, I don't know what the best practices are. Do you keep duplicates?
Depends how much space you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are decisions we're gonna have to make, and unfortunately, it's not just me making them.
Well, and I thought about, well, I'll just toss the duplicates, but I thought, oh, I don't know if that's I don't know what best practices are. So
I think best practices is getting it here first, and for us to then figure out what we can accommodate.
All right,
you know what I'm saying? I think that sort of absolves anybody of any sort of extra guilt attached to any of this, because I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be, again, I'm going to ask those best practice questions, and and I think probably it's going to come down to, if we have a digital copy and we have a physical copy, and maybe a couple of different digital copies, one on the server and one on a backup, we're not going to need to have more than one physical copy. That's just my gut feeling. But I think,
Suzanne,
just a couple. Sorry.
What?
Which email do you use, Suzanne? Which email?
I'm sorry?
Which email do you use?
I still use my university one, snosp@arizona.edu. And I prefer that for all Guild stuff.
Okay.
Just two other conferences that I remembered that I know were videotaped, and there should be archives, is the one, the 5th anniversary conference at Marymount, Saul Spangenberg in New York. I think he did a really good job of documenting that. And there was a panel I was on with Joan Tower, and it was quite a, and that was also the conference where there was a whole evening concert of music by dance musicians. Rob, do you remember that one? It was pretty amazing. There were 2 concerts, right? Exactly. And then the other one I thought of is the one at Florida State that Doug Corbin put together. I think that was pretty well documented too. Anyway, that's enough.
And the concert, I'm sure the concert from ASU is okay, because that was loud.
Okay.
I was going to ask one more thing, just in terms of the idea of soliciting materials and stuff like that. I just another suggestion. If you could make sure that when you're soliciting materials, you do it to some sort of a separate address or something rather than the listserv, because what one worries about is all of a sudden like hundreds of emails of going back and forth. Did I send the right thing, or questions or blah blah blah, and that kind of thing. And I mean that's one of the problems with the listserv in general, when trivial information or non-essential information becomes public. It's always good to have a different place to send things where you'd like them to be posted or seen, but not necessarily everybody.
Thank you. That's a really good point. Part of this, part of the learning curve for those of us who just became officers is to figure out what's the best way to do that, both format as far as how much information to give at any time, and also, just what delivery system we use. So Jeff has encouraged me to kind of, again, space things out a little bit. But like we did with the first email that I sent out, that was actually to all members and former members, current members and former members. That was just a straight email. And that's probably the kind of thing that you're talking about, is where if they're responding to, I guess, to me, since I am going to be putting it, but it's not like everybody's on a thread. It's just a general, like a bulk emailing. And so, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because like you said, that could get cumbersome really quick. Although it may be possible, because it's like one of those things where I think it's just basically all the discussion. And when you're talking about listserv, what you're talking about now is on our discussion part of the website. There's probably ways people can turn some of those things off for notifications, but of course, who wants to have to like go in and manually click all that stuff? So, yeah, thank you, David. That was a fantastic suggestion. So I'll bear that in mind and probably take you up on that.
Great. So we move forward. I mean, this is always a big thing with the library and all the ideas. But we will have time every 10th of every month. Okay, so if you have ideas in the next coming days, and if you can join the next meeting, just go into the group and show your ideas or share ideas. Or even if you can join, you can always send a private message, of course, to Owen, to me, to Jeff, to so we can always have a conversation between individuals, not in groups, of course. So don't be shy. Yes, one thing that we were thinking to do, well, it's something that I really want to do, is to hear about you. And now, I mean, all of you know each other, but for example, Eleni is pretty new, I'm pretty new, and I would really like to share what we have done, what we are doing, and our upcoming projects and things like this, so we kind of follow, what we are doing. So, are you want to do this? Sounds good. Yeah, anyone? I can start, or I don't know if any of you want to start. I would really like to hear also about what you made for the guild, because that's also important for us to know, because you are in all the meetings, all of you. So it's like it's interesting to hear what you have done, and what you are expecting for the Guild, or what is your dream, for the future?
If you don't mind, I'd really like to hear from Nicholas because I don't know you at all.
Exactly.
And I'd like to hear what you're about in this incredible field.
You're
Well, if you'd
muted.
like, just as briefly as possible, I came across the Guild because I wanted to learn more about playing for dance class. I was a theater director for many years, and a couple of Russian ladies. I live in outside Montreal in Quebec, and I met a couple of Russian ladies that rented the theater, and then I started playing for them in their little dance school in a rural community close to where I live, which then expanded to other dance classes, and partly because I could do it. And I found that I'm a former New Yorker. I married a Canadian and moved to Montreal. I was involved with very casually dance in New York, but mostly in theater and music. And then throughout my theater time, I did a lot of choreography accompaniment just for theater. And then I met these ladies, and I had this wonderful experience of sitting in a corner of a room behind a piano, watching dance classes, and these two Russians speaking to each other quite animately. And I found myself enthralled. And at the same time, everything about dance is 13 bars, 32 bars, 64 bars, improvisations, do a tango, do something swing, doing a popular tune. It all combined my sensibilities in a way. And I spend a lot of time teaching students piano. And now I'm trying to encourage everybody to learn how to play for dance, partly because it develops rhythm. And I thought every dance class, every dance student should have a live pianist in them. I'm also a piano technician. I got tired of having to pay somebody to tune my piano. So I think years and years and years ago, I read an article about a State Department pianist that was traveling around, and she got discouraged because of the out-of-tune pianos. I said, well, I thought, just carry a tuning hammer with you. It's not that hard. Two felts and a tuning hammer, and you can make, wondrous things. So anyway, that's my little story in terms of how I got into dance. And then I became just really fascinated by the whole world of it. I'm now involved with a film festival, and this is the director of the film festival calling me, making sure that I show up because I'm doing the Q&A today. But at the same time, I found myself discovering the world of silent film. So dance accompaniment has traveled me into silent film accompaniment, which is even more improvisational. I'm not doing it completely blind, but partially blind, and improving silent film accompaniment. So all these sorts of things are just sort of my way of discovering my personal language, and at the same time contributing back to this community as I'm able. Like I said, I think I wrote a long letter. Most of you probably read it, having to say what I wanted to find from the Guild or what anybody else would be looking for the Guild, because I was a perfect example of somebody looking for information. And I had read some of the old journals that were online, but then I saw, well, there's journals missing. What was in them? I saw that there were publications referred to that I could not find, other ones I could find. So I thought that was part of the inspiration about all that information that I wrote, saying, what are we doing? What is the Guild doing? How can it improve, or how can it be helpful to people that don't know anything about dance, or what kind of guidelines they want? I was fortunate enough with these two Russian ladies who were going back to Moscow, or actually they were both from Siberia, curiously enough. And they came back with a lot of music for me. So most of my repertoire is unusual things from there. And at the same time, looking at all the books that are out. And I went out and looked at a lot of people's books. I looked at Mariana's websites. I've seen a lot of things from Karen. I'm a bit of a bibliophile, so I'm academic in my research, and it's just fascinating. And also the history of dance. I was involved a bit with the École Supérieure de Ballet du Québec, which has a course of studying things, but they all have electronic pianos, so I'm not very inspired by it. So I managed to get pianos in the studios that I'm working in and keep them reasonably in tune, and at the same time, amuse myself with that. And it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this and that and the other thing. So it's interesting to see what you're all doing, and it's obviously you all have a collective history which I'm not familiar with at all, other than what I've read in the journals online. So it's encouraging in many respects. But I had asked at the last meeting, is there a publication that could be printed out? Because people in dance studios, we had a poster that said, join the guild, we'll find this, not even join the guild, discover music for dance, discover musicians for dance. And then you have this resource that people can hook into and go, oh yeah, here's this book, here's that book, this is the book I use, this, here's the website. So for me, it was really a discovery of what I would personally would have liked and what's possible.
That's very exciting. I can't wait to talk to you further about your Russian music.
They're lucky to have you. Holy smokes. That's great, man.
It's I worked for a music publisher in New York. I played in all kinds of places, everything from rock and roll and to Carnegie Recital Hall with performance artists. So I have a background. I went to City University of New York, Indiana University, and then I went to graduate school at University of Victoria in BC, British Columbia. I was doing dance from the 17th, 18th century, the Théâtre de la Foi and the Chorale de Buffon, all those sort of early French things. And so I'm trying to figure out, how do I play for dance from the Baroque to the contemporary to complete the improvisation? And it's fascinating. I'm just a curious type of person.
Nicholas, do you have a copy of Pia Gilbert's book, The Modern Dance, Music for Modern Dance? That's an incredible old resource that's very good.
No.
Very good.
What,
Pia Gilbert. I have two copies.
Oh, yes.
Two copies of her books. Yeah, and she has some music in the back. There it is. There, Suzanne's got it.
Yes,
that's an incredible early resource.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm mostly in more of a classical classes. I haven't really been doing too many things that are modern, but it's kind of on the research list. Everybody has one. Yeah. How can you find them? I am a fan of OBE books. That's certainly a great resource.
What's OBE books?
ABE.
ABE book. Yeah, ABE books.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
ABE.
Yeah.
Came across this copy in the library, the music library at Jackson State University, my first job. And I'm ashamed to say that I stole it, but the books were just sitting there languishing. And I just gotten into starting as an adjunct thing playing at Belhaven. So yeah, pretty awesome.
Well, you got to it before I did.
Yeah, right.
Did you really? Oh,
yeah.
cool.
I was when I was at UCLA and like a freshman or whatever. I mean, it was the easiest class in the world for me. Yeah, and when she left UCLA, when she retired, I took her role as the director of our dance company there and stuff. But she was a real trip.
I spent some time with her in New York. She invited me to her apartment and gave me her book and signed it and all that stuff. She was a formidable character, yeah, for sure.
She knew everybody.
Oh yeah,
like
she and Marge Lewis were friends, and Gilbert and people like that would hang out.
She introduced me to Steve Reich, things like that. It was like, it's just weird.
She was friends with John Cage.
Oh yeah. She showed me a book she had that John Cage had signed, and all that stuff. She was a trip.
Okay, now I really want to hear about Tom.
No.
I don't know anything about
I just want to tell. No, what I do want to do. It's too long a story, and it's not all that interesting. But I just was involved in a project and have been for about a year and a half now. A composer by the name of Eve Beglorian. She's out of Vermont. She created a score for 24 string basses from a piece of birch bark. And she took the scratches on the birch bark and gritted it out for basically 24 tracks. And Robert Black, who just recently died of colon cancer, a great guy. I met him and played next to him. But he helped her construct this score. And I've had three opportunities now to perform that piece. Once on a farm in Wisconsin. This was through Zeitgeist, which is a new music ensemble here in St. Paul, Minneapolis. And you guys, it was such a trip to be in an outdoor space with 24 string basses playing harmonics and partials. And people walked through on this path with, we were alternated. The 24 of us were on alternate sides of the path. And as you walked through this score or walked through the piece, it was 30 minutes long. It was a trip, you guys. I have never had that experience before, to have these sort of mystical, magical harmonics and partials going on, and then the ambient sound with the trees and the birds, and it was an amazing piece. And they actually did it in New York at the same time that we did it in St. Peter here at Gustavus College. What was it, last month or 2 months ago, something like that. And there, I should send you guys that link, because there is kind of a promo video of it from Vermont, where they did it in Vermont. But it was such a unique experience, because the score, Robert Black recorded every track, every 24 tracks. He recorded each one of them and said, play the third partial on the D string. Here's the note, go. And this went on for 30 minutes, and we each had our instructions, and we listened on our phones, with earbuds, and that was, it was a trip. So anyway, I wanted you to tell you about that project, because it is.
Send the link of the trailer in the conversation in the listserv.
Okay.
I don't know in which category, but check one category that fits, answer it there.
Yeah, I'll put that link in there, because it was reviewed as one of the most significant pieces of music in the 21st century, which I thought was a little, hyperbolic, or whatever that word is. But it's a trip. It's a real trip, and I hope she does it again here. But I think the original contract was for 3 performances here, and I did 3 of the rehearsals and 2 of the live performances. So anyway, I wanted to tell you that's kind of a project I've been in, because I started playing string bass in high school and played in the university orchestra here with Dave Brubeck. Came and did his first oratorio. We did it at the University of Minnesota, and I played string bass for that, and sat underneath the piano, Nicholas, while Dave Brubeck played with his trio. It was a trip. So I have a long history with dance musicianship, and I was also a trained modern dancer. I studied with Hanya Holm, and Hanya imparted a lot of her experiences with Mary Vigman's company. She taught Dalcroze rhythmics and was in Mary Vigman's company. So she would teach dance. And then later on, when I studied with John Coleman, I went, I've had this shit before. This is Dalcroze. He said, yeah, I studied with Dalcroze in Geneva, and it's like, oh my God. But my role really, I feel the message that I want to impart to dance musicians is take a dance class. Because when I started dancing, I realized that I was playing music in my body, and had been since I was a kid, and to have that embodiment of music in my body, well, that's redundant, but anyway, to have that sense of it being present in my body, and fortunately I was able to impart some of that knowledge that I got from Hanya, studying composition with her, to my kids. I taught I was one of the founding teachers at Purpose Center for Arts Education here in Minneapolis, and it was a 2-year arts high school. And so I was able to share some of that stuff with my kids. And anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know about that Eve Beglorian piece, because it was pretty cool. So I keep doing my little projects and playing for art openings. And
Where are you based? Where do you live? Where are you based? Hello? Wait, what happened?
Yep, I'm in Minneapolis. You dropped out there for just a second. Yeah, I'm in Minneapolis.
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. Yeah.
Hmm.
So anyway, and I'll play for art openings and do my little old guy routine things, so.
And you and Rob, you joined the guild from the beginning, that's right?
No, I came the second year. Rob was there from the beginning. And Suzanne, were you
And
there? No, you weren't there from the beginning. Second year.
David and I.
Yep,
David and I were there.
that's right.
You
David
were
was
there.
too.
Yeah.
Rob, really quickly. So there was you and Natalie and Rob and Bill Moulton and David got together. Was it
Tigger
at
Benford.
and Tigger at SUNY?
Steve Rush, yeah.
Okay,
Richard Shanks, Steve Rush.
that's
Kathy
before I
Tech.
knew about it.
Tech.
That was the year before I knew about it. Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
picture somewhere of like 21 of us or whatever. About
Yeah, I
a year
have
or
it
two ago,
somewhere.
we put the name, we tried to put the names to everybody. There was one
Yeah.
or two mystery people that we don't know
Oh,
happened to
yeah.
them, but yeah. So it changed because so many of us felt sort of isolated, and all of a sudden the country discovering that chicks like me all over
BC's. Like,
I think it.
Okay, now I don't know.
Yeah.
The meeting just disconnected. Sorry. Now
Yeah. Anyway, I think that whole first gathering was very encouraging for all of us. We were just so isolated and really having to. I mean, most of us ended up and continued to develop our own approach to teaching materials. But we got support from each other, and it was a wonderful opportunity for us to share ideas and come back with new tools. Because when you're out there on your own, you're developing your own stuff. To go and abandon it to use something totally by somebody else is pretty foreign, but to have that infused by what everyone else brought to the table was fantastic. And it was just, and it still is great to share this information all these years later.
Seems like the same discovery that you all made then it still carries through. I mean, Nicholas has alluded to that, but also, when we were in Glasgow, it just seemed like just such a shot in the arm for everybody who does this to realize like there's a group, there are people like me out there. And I know it was for me when I came to the first conference I came to was in Arizona for the 2015 in Phoenix. And yeah, I mean, it was lovely. That picture, if anybody has it and can locate it, seems like it'd be really important to have in the guild's archives.
Yeah,
I think
I have it somewhere.
I think I have it.
Yeah, you do,
archives.
Suzanne. Awesome.
I think so.
I know I have the original picture. I also have the one where he tried to put everyone's names on it, but I don't know where it is.
well, the other piece of it for me, not only realizing that I was finally with my species, was that this was a group of fantastic, incredible musicians, world-class musicians, and here we are sitting in a corner. I mean, I don't mean we, but I mean, I'm sitting in a corner playing music for dancers every day, and it is as good as anything that's coming out, anywhere, world-class musicians, it was such a great feeling of being validated in the work that I was doing, you know, just saying, yeah, this is important work.
And incredible people, incredible human beings. I can think of maybe one or two people I've met in the 43 years I've been in this business that were unpleasant. But everybody else is just incredible humans.
Yeah. I think in general we have like a you can say like a serving soul. Yeah, one pianist in Canada, Laurel, says that we are the ghost hero. Because it's like in the movies, no? Like, you know, the hero is saving the world, but no one knows who is the hero.
Well, I've sort of settled with the term aesthetic explorer. It seems like
Static explorer.
Aesthetic explorer.
I just found that picture. I could screen share it for a second with you guys to just show you. I've gotten really rusty with my Zoom technique, but I'm going to try to do it.
I have to show you, o sea, to allow you to share a screen, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Are you going to share your screen?
Let's see. Oh, can you do that? Can you see that?
You have to make him co-host.
Yes. Wait. I need to go to the chat. Wait. I'm pretty new also with the how is here the participants here. So David, and now I allow you to share. Make host, no? Make host.
And then screen share, or will you see it?
I made you the host.
You have to share screen.
And now you have to share a screen.
Okay, let's see if that works.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yeah, that's the picture. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, with the names on it.
Yeah, that's the one I put the names on it. Somebody pointed out to me that I misspelled somebody's name or whatever, but I think I think we got them all. There was some question about one person, but yeah, there they are, the few, the proud.
Wow. Richard Cameron Wolfe was there.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. He was at the second one too. I remember meeting him.
Was he?
Yeah. Wow, there. You don't want to meet those people in an alley.
Yeah.
I don't know David Swaim or Molly Otis.
Right. That David Swain. We remember Rob and I. We ended up him and I and David were out like smoking pot outside in the snow. But he disappeared after that.
Well, I actually found him. I found him. He preceded me, David Swaim. He preceded me he was an hourly musician playing classes at ASU before I got here. And he was gone my first year. So Xenia Klistova, the ballet person, was always miss him. So when I met him, I couldn't believe that he was actually a real person. But he surfaced when my dad was in memory care. He was playing piano at the center that he was in.
Oh, wow.
So he's still in Phoenix and he's doing,
And who was Mark Katz? I did not meet him.
He was in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. He was having tenure issues at the time, I believe.
That was before Doug then, huh?
Oh, yeah, it was well before Doug. Is like a long time before Doug. Molly Otis, I don't remember Molly.
Yeah, that was the one I guessed at, because looking at the roster of people, that was the name that I couldn't place to any other face. So that's what I stuck it there. But
by the way, Larry Attaway has quite a archive of stuff too, that you might want to connect with Larry.
Yeah, Larry just he reached out. We've been communicating
Great.
about the kind of business end of things mostly, but just recently, yeah, he mentioned he had some
Yeah,
things.
right, the 501c3 and all that stuff. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, hopefully I'm going to be going up to Indianapolis for a conference, and I haven't told him this yet, but I'll probably get with him and see if I can get some of that stuff when I'm there.
Very cool.
Should I take this down now? I guess I press stop share.
I just stop maybe. A ver.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think you all know that Beth Mahosic passed, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
We all
And
look so young.
I still haven't contacted her partner because Beth had a bunch of stuff. You know, because she did the newsletter and the member
Right.
and
Right.
the journal.
The journal.
Yep.
Beginning, yeah.
So who from all of you who are in the same city, or are you all in different cities? All of you.
No.
Cities.
No, feel close, but yeah.
Yeah, they're about 100 miles apart.
110.
110, depending.
Eleni, where are you?
Oh, I'm now in Lisbon. I studied with Suzanne in Arizona, and now I live
Nice.
and work in Lisbon, Portugal.
Very cool. I want to come visit.
Come to Europe. Europe is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful here.
Susan has
Mariana, where
been
are you
in Europe
now?
many times. Eh?
Where are you now?
I'm in my
Sevilla?
hometown. In my hometown, no, in the north of Spain.
Yeah.
I'm
Nice.
emptying the family flat, so it has been a crazy week, full of boxes and throwing stuff. So yeah, difficult to focus on these things, but yeah, here we are. Yes.
Speaking of coming to Europe, has Cristiano mentioned anything about plans for the next Il Corpo no Suono?
I actually asked Cristiano to join today, and he got the mail, so he's a member now. But he told me that he thought that he's not going to be able to join, because I wanted to ask open here, if he can explain a little bit. I spoke with Karen, and they are waiting for September. I think they are really August is really like holidays in Europe. So I think in September they will make a decision, because Karen told me if they repeat it in Glasgow, it's going to be kind of easy because they know how to proceed, how to ask for grants and all of this. And I think my personal opinion is that it would be good to repeat in Glasgow. I think, because if not, it's going to be a new organization for a new, it's going to be a lot of work. So why don't you take it a little bit easier every second year,
Yeah, some continuity.
But Karen finished super, super tired, I think, in June. I think she was exhausted. So she told me, we keep it open and we talk in September. So I think she will join the meeting on the 10th, and maybe she can share a little bit there, or in November, but maybe it's too late. So yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks.
And in USA, there was some ideas also, no, to do it there, no? Some of you say something, no, or no?
I mentioned something about my institution is going to be hosting one of the American College Dance Association regional meetings I think in March. And so I was going to maybe just kind of open it up for folks to come down as an excuse to come and take a look at what we've got with the archives and go through some of it or whatever. Kind of do mini conference, or I'm trying to piece together really the plan for you plan that you're going to do this event like 2 years beforehand, and whoever was the host backed out, and so we were taking it on 6 months before. So just kind of get an idea of what they're doing, and then maybe I can invite folks. So, and y'all keep it in the back of your mind, especially those who are retired and want to do a little traveling, come to Jackson and see some blues.
Well, and we've traditionally gathered at the ACDF's or that's not what it's called, ACDA?
ACD.
They're calling it ACDA. They dropped
Okay,
the
yeah.
F. Yeah. Mhm.
Association or whatever. Anyway, but then I remember Rob this past year,
Yeah.
nobody wanted musicians.
Oh,
It seemed
right.
like two
Yeah.
people wanted musicians.
Yeah. Very few wanted musicians. They all wanted to use their Spotify playlists.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And it's so funny that, you know, in a way, being in the South, you get kind of a bad rap for being kind of behind the times, but in our case, that's a good thing. People are still wanting to do things in a more, you know, traditional manner with musicians in the classrooms. So hopefully, I mean, since we're hosting it, we're gonna do it, unless the people coming don't want it. But like I said, the people who in our region are just thrilled to have musicians, because, you know, we get everything late, so we're on board.
Well, whatever can be done at any of these ACDA or NDEO or any of these dance organizations, for us to have a presence is really important, because unless a university program has someone who's going to advocate for experienced live musicians, not just taking music students who've never played a class before,
Right.
because that doesn't really help, and that usually leads to live music disappearing from programs. So
Right.
you need to have enough people who are in decision-making positions to advocate for live music. And because the budgets, this is low-hanging fruit, and it just gets cut.
And
That's
I hope,
what happens. But
yeah,
and then the dance program is the next thing to be cut, which is what's been happening too.
yeah, I hope that someone will take up the mantle for NDEO. I'm no longer a member. I gave them 25 years of my life and was happy to do so, but I'm not doing that anymore. And I would play 6 classes, 7 classes, and give presentations. So I hope someone else will desires to do that.
Speaking of ACDA, I just had a video that was scored as a promo for ACDA Screen Dance 2023. That a guy a choreographer I've collaborated with a lot, named Chad Hall, edited it, and he did a tremendous job. I don't know. I mean, the good thing about it is that even though, yeah, in a sense, a lot of scenarios where live music for dance classes, you know, are kind of disappearing or whatever, this other outlet too of composers working with choreographers for film and stuff is just another thing that's sort of opening up. I know, I mean, obviously Marina's done some wonderful work with video and stuff. I just put the link on the group chat. I'd love you guys to look at it. It's real quick, but it's just got so much energy. So I think if I press return, that'll happen, right? Let's see what happens.
Come up. We'll all see it.
Yeah,
There we go. Yeah. But yeah, check it out. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah, but this thing with the with teachers less and less asking for live music is something that hit us on the West Coast over 15, 20 years. I mean, it got to the point where I was having to talk to instructors, you know, generally under, 40 or less, who were afraid, and literally afraid to work with musicians, and they were all so much more comfortable with their, just bringing in their iPhones now. And on one hand, when I had a, as as having a full-time job where I could dole out work when needed and do other stuff, it didn't hit me as bad as it did all of my part-time people, where I had to continue reducing people's hours and stuff because there just wasn't any work for them. You know, I don't know if anybody's is seen that turn around anywhere. I mean, I understand that in places where it hasn't quite hit yet, where, you know, that's still, it's still, you know, live music for every class, and the teachers are actually enthused about it, is happening.
Yeah, I mean, at Belhaven, we're all in, and again, being in the South, things tend to be more conservative. So when ballet is something that is actually, at least here, very valued. We have this international ballet competition, and so seems to be an easier sell. I mean, we at that competition they have live musicians for all the dance classes. Many of our, you know, ballet accompanists do that when they're in town. So like that, where there are strong ballet programs still within the institutions, I think you see it more. When those start going away as a focus, I think that's when you're seeing the overall presence of music, live music, going away. Yeah, it's very largely tied to that. And that's also what I was really intrigued about going to Glasgow and meeting everybody who were employed in full-time jobs, not necessarily with a university sometimes. But Eleni, maybe you can talk more about, you know, kind of the state of things in Europe, and Mariana.
I think Mariana has seen much more than me, because she's been traveling a lot. I know the situation more or less in Portugal and Greece, for sure. And from what I've heard about Spain, in Portugal, the school where I work at, they are making sure they're making sure to keep us, the pianists. We have like 14 musicians. 3 of them are percussionists, and the rest are pianists. And we have our title is teacher accompanist. Because with that title of teacher, since it's a public school, it would be hard for the government, let's say, because it's a public school, yes, it would be hard for the government to kick us out of the school. So therefore, we have more duties like meetings and so on, and a bit of grading, but that way they make sure that they keep the pianists there. But for example, the dance company, they have all their pianists are part-time. And
but maybe that's because sorry, Eleni, maybe that's because they want to change the pianist. They don't want to have one pianist full time, no?
Yeah, it's possible.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah. They have, I don't know how many pianists they have, but at least 3 or 4 at the dance company. And then other smaller schools here, it's hard to have live music. But I was looking into it because I was trying to complete these forms that we were doing last time when we were entering schools and companies.
It was something from Jeff shared.
Yeah, the database, right? We're trying to create a database of all, if possible, schools or companies that use live musicians. And so I'm going to look more into that and have a clearer picture of Portugal and Greece, these 2. Then the rest, Mariana, what about Spain?
Yeah, I can make a Spain with Juan. I mean, in Spain, it's pretty good, actually. There are all the conservatories, like we have this, we say elemental, professional, and superior. That's these 3 levels. Elemental is 4 years, professional is 6, and superior is 4. And all these conservatories, so you have one elemental and professional in each city, big city, like the capitals of the regions. So that should be like 21 cities. So they have this elemental and professional, and then some of them they have also superior. And in each conservatory they have minimum of 5 musicians. So it's pretty a lot in Spain.
Okay.
So yeah, and also in Sweden, in the dance schools, they have between 5 and 10 musicians. So I think it's pretty good in Europe, actually.
Yeah, that was the feeling I got for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. We don't have this crisis yet. Maybe it will not come, never. So all of you have to move to Europe.
Yeah, it seems like there's more if they have live pianists, institutions are keeping them live musicians, not only pianists.
Wonderful.
Well, I do know there are some strongholds still out there. I know Andy Warshaw, I think, has live musicians for most of his classes at Marymount, but I did some teaching and some guest work at the LaGuardia School for the Performing Arts, and I know all the dance musicians there had to have teaching licenses in order to play at LaGuardia School. So I did a project there with Patrick Byers, who was a composer and a pianist. Wonderful dance. We did an exchange thing. He came to Perpich and I went to the LaGuardia School, and we did forehand accompanying and all of the musicians, and it was a 4-year arts high school there, you know, the Fame School in New York City. And as far as I know, they were keeping live music going there too. So but lately I don't know. So
when I did my workshop at the School of Dance yesterday, one of the new faculty that came in is the hip hop teacher. And he was very interested in our discussions and had things to offer, and actually expressed an interest for having a musician in his classroom. And, you know, we're all automatically thinking DJ, but one of our percussionists does looping with Ableton Live in his modern classes.
Is that Zach?
And so is
that Zach?
Oh, yeah, Zach. Yeah, you're right. And so we talked about that. We did a little tiny round robin, and Zach played for Hassan's hip hop exercise. And
I'm sure
we
Zach
just all got very excited about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Younger people.
We have to start closing this meeting, but first let's say hello to Robert. Where I don't know you. I don't know.
Okay, well, here I am. I thought you guys were going later, but I guess not. So I showed up late and you're closing, but my name's Bob and I live in New Haven, Connecticut. And I play for classes at New Haven Ballet and Choate Rosemary Hall School, modern and ballet, and whatever else comes up.
have you met Richard Schenk? He was over at Conn College there for a while. I don't know if he's still there. Do you know Rob?
Richard. No. Have not met him. I know some other people at Connecticut College, but not him.
Okay. So, but did you get a different hour in your schedule or something like this for this meeting?
Yeah, well, I knew I was late, but then it said you were going to meet for 2 hours. Didn't the email
That's
say 2 hours?
That's what my announcement had said. So
that
I
was
guess
aspirational.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Guess so.
Whatever. It's all good.
Sorry. Yeah, we are starting with this meeting, so it's a little bit, there are the misunderstandings. But I think
Mariana recorded it.
Yes, so
you could watch the recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
time
found
did it actually start?
9.
Okay. I don't know if the meeting
Arizona time.
Like
10.
12 o'clock. Maybe 10. I didn't notice the time
12
zone.
o'clock, yeah.
Susanna, if the meeting for an hour and a half is going to cut the meeting when, or no, I have to stop it.
You have to
I'm
stop
just worried that the meeting is
recording. The recording, if it's a private Zoom account, it goes, I think, for an hour and then it cuts itself.
That's maybe why the thing was, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
But the
I
meeting is going to close like automatically, or I have to close it?
No, you'll have to, when you leave the meeting,
Okay.
whoever is the host will have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
save
Hi,
it.
David.
Well, we should decide if
David,
David's the
you have
host, do you want
to-
it saved to the cloud?
No, no,
Yeah,
David,
save it.
stop your host and send it to me again. You are the host now. I don't know,
Go to participants,
Wait, okay, I don't know what I'm doing.
go to participants
I
in
know
the
what,
bottom.
okay. Yeah.
and go to
And-
Mariana
And
Palacios.
you see you're the host.
Oh, yeah. How did I end up the host? Anyway,
Because
and what do I do?
I made you host
Go-
to share the screen.
Go to Mariana and make her co-host or make her host.
How do I do that?
There are three dots in my line, right?
Wait.
In the right side.
Oh, wait.
Yes, now you did it.
I think I did it.
Good.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
she's the host now.
my Zoom chops are just,
Okay.
you know, I haven't taught now in 2 years, and my Zoom chops are just a mess.
Exactly. Okay, I think we need to close this meeting so we don't get.
I'm just going to say one thing if I can. I found all these pictures from the first gathering and we started on January 20th. So the fact that we're meeting on the 20th of every month falls right in line with that one. So
We had a connection, a mental connection.
mental, yes.
Thanks for pulling that full circle, Rob.
Yeah, I've got these photos. I was going to share them, but it's too many.
Great.
Anyway, okay.
Well, thank you everyone for joining, and let's meet the 10th. The 10th we have the working meeting, so it will be 1 hour, very compressed, very focused, so we don't get into chatting and all of this like today. And the next general meeting will be in November. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
It may actually be October because that's what the email that I sent. So we might have an extra one in October that we wouldn't have had. Again, a couple of wires crossed. We'll figure it out. I think we'll still do that one. But yeah. And then when we start the new year, it'll go to one every quarter. We're just playing catch up because we went like 6 months without meeting. Let's just say that.
I'll just look for emails.
Great.
Gotta go.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Any
All right.
suggestions?
Bye, everybody.
Nice meeting you, Bob.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Take care.
Bye.
All right.